Greetings everyone, and welcome back. Today we will be returning to one of our previous categories of poetry, exploring the nature of European chivalry. Unlike our first series, which derived knightly poetry from modern and recent historical interpretations on chivalric virtues, this series will explore chivalry in a more classical manner. Although it is important to read and comprehend the poetic expressions of recent authors, I argue it is even more essential to read pieces composed by the bards of the medieval ages, and above all, European knights themselves. By this intent, today's readings come to us from several famous knights, each offering a valuable impression on what it means to be a courtly, chivalric, and noble-hearted man. For those who are new to the channel, it is our ambition here to explore the code of chivalry, and similarly noble creeds through poetry, both recent and archaic, as this is how we can truly understand the virtues of the past and use them to shape ourselves, helping to build a better world. If you wish to read today's pieces for yourself, you can find them linked in the description. But now, relax and take heart, for this poetry is the stuff of chivalry. Our first two poems come to us by the 12th century knight and troubadour, Bertrand de Born. Life from 1140 to 1202 AD, Lord of Otterfall, was one of the most famous French troubadours of the 12th century. His poetry covers a wide variety of topics, including warfare. His first poem is Bimplelu Gaetan de Pascal, loosely translated as Happy Easter Time. Well do I love the cheerful spring, which brings the leaves in flowers. And I also love to hear the merriment of the birds, who send their song ringing through the woods. And I am glad to see tents and pavilions pitched in the meadows. Great is my joy when I see knights and armored horses ranged on the battlefield. And I like to see the foragers send the people and the cattle fleeing before them. And it pleases me when I see many soldiers come running after them. And it warms my heart to see strong castles besieged, the palisades smashed and broken down, and to see the army on the riverbank, protected on all sides by ditches and strong, tight-made palisades. And I am well pleased by a lord when he is the first to attack on horseback, armored and fearless. Thus does he inspire his men with boldness and worthy courage. And when the battle is joined, each man must be ready to follow him with joy. For no man is held to be worthy until he has taken and given many blows. Maces and swords, colorful helms, shields riven and cast aside, these shall we see at the start of the battle, and also many vassals struck down, the horses of the dead and wounded running wild. And when he enters the combat, let every man of good lineage think of nothing but splitting heads and hacking arms, for it is better to die than to live in defeat. I tell you, I find no such savor in eating or drinking or sleeping as when I hear the cries of attack from both sides and the noise of riderless horses in the shadows, and I hear screams of help, help, and I see great and small alike falling into the grassy ditches, and the dead with splintered lances, bedecked with pennons through their sides. Love wants a chivalrous lover, skilled at arms and generous in serving, who speaks well and gives greatly, who knows what he should do and say, in or out of his hall, as befits his power. He should be full of hospitality, courtesy, and good cheer. A lady who lies with such a lover as that is clean of all her sins. Chevalier Bertrand's second poem is Un Deux Termini Blanc. In the sweet white time of early spring, I see the signs of the fresh season, which delights the senses, the most gentle, most charming, and best time of the year, when a man should be at his happiest, and I enjoy everything the most. That's why I'm depressed, for I am standing still, a sty in his eye and canker sore to the man who counsels King Philip of France. Miserable mourning is never the equal of noble action, nor are rest and relaxation as good as war, trouble, and action. Let King Philip know that. Never have we seen him smash an arm or a side, nor inflict a severe wound on a leg or head, nor have we seen him at Rouen or Sens, at the head of his men or a great army. He should remember what men say of him, that he has never broken a lance on a shield. Without fire and without blood, waged for a king of no great power, who is scorned and made a liar, war is then no noble word. Yet he can just lie around and grow fat. A youth who does not feed on war soon becomes fat and detestable. Of all things said about Sir Bertrand, a lack in honesty will never be among them. Our following readings come to us from the book From Dawn to Dawn, Troubadour Poetry, a selection of 60 provincial poems, translated from the Occitan, by A.S. Klein. The translator's introduction reads as follows. This personal selection of Occitan poetry is a verse that I feel has true poetic merit, and nothing is included solely for its historic interest. I considered a simple prose or free verse translation of these poems, but to show the troubadours without their rhyme schemes, their form, seemed to me too great an admission of failure. Form is half their art, and crucially their poems were set to music, a large amount of which survives. Either approach, rhymed or unrhymed, is of course valid. As always, the end result is what counts. I have gone for rhyme and aimed for accuracy of meaning. These translations attempt to stay close to the original text, in rhythm, rhyme scheme, and content. I have given the first lines of the poems, the incipits, as Occitan headings, one only is in Latin, so that a quick search on the web for the line, remembering to enclose it in double quotes, will usually turn up the original text for those who need to see it. For the uninitiated, I would also suggest reading a little about the troubadours on Wikipedia, which leads the reader onto a vast amount of interesting material online, especially the music. Many dates and facts are conjecture, and so the order of the poets is at times somewhat arbitrary, where dates of birth and death are uncertain. I have not translated the Vedas, or biographical lives of the poets, which are highly unreliable, though charming as legend, but have referred to them where relevant. Our first poem comes to us from an anonymous poet, dated to the 10th century. The manuscript of this bilingual text, which has been termed the first alba, or dawn song, made of Latin stanzas with an apparently provincial refrain, is thought to have come from the monastery of Fleur-sur-Loire. Though not strictly a troubadour text, It is a first example of a form, the alba, adopted later. This is Phoebe Claron non du auto-eba. With pale Phoebus in the clear east, not yet bright, Aurora sheds on earth ethereal light. While the watchman to the idol cries, "Arise!" Dawn now breaks, sunlight rakes the swollen seas. Ah, alas, it is he, see there the shadows pass. Behold, the heedless torpid yearn to try, and block the insidious entry, there they lie, whom the herald summons, urging them to rise. Dawn now breaks, sunlight rakes the swollen seas. Ah, alas, it is he, see there the shadows pass. From Arcturus the north wind soon separates, the star about the pole conceals its bright rays. Towards the east the plough its brief journey makes. Dawn now breaks, sunlight rakes the swollen seas. Now, alas, it is he. Final notes. The third verse suggests a summer sky in northern latitudes, say late July, when Arcturus sets in the northwest at dawn. I hope you have enjoyed today's video and have learned something from this poetic reading on Troubadour Nightly Poetry. If you wish to hear more, please like our videos and subscribe to our channel. Peace be with you. Until next time, we speak of chivalry and poetry.